Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a few more examples. This would be like a second day, and we're going to work with solving trig equations. You might see some variability with some of the problems, maybe a little bit more complex, slightly different situations. So we're going to go ahead and just jump to the example, and we're going to find the approximate solutions to the equation below. And so this is all using calculator. And so when it says approximate, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, hundredth, whatever. Okay, so approximate solutions mean, let me go ahead and I got to undo this real quick. I had the wrong marker on here. Okay, so we're going to just go ahead and solve this algebraically. In the previous videos, I put in a variable and said, hey, it's just like solving an algebraic equation. So I'm just going to add 2 to both sides. And I get 3 sine of x is equal to 1/2 plus 2, so that's the same as 5/2 because 2 is the same as 4 over 2. Okay, so then I'm going to divide both sides by 3, which is the same, and this is going to be actually easier. Dividing by a number or multiplying by its reciprocal are the same. So the way I have my fraction set up on the other side, it's easier to multiply by 1/3. These guys cancel out, and then it's easy for me to work with my fractions, and I get 5 over 6. So this is not a special trig value. So because it's not a special trig value, I need to use my calculator and use sine inverse. But the other thing that we have to focus on is that I have 2 quadrants in which sine is positive. So I need to find a first and a second quadrant angle. So I need to find all solutions of theta between 0 and 360. So I do the sine inverse, 5/6, and that is going to give me an angle measurement. I'll pull out my calculator. I'm going to go ahead and crank it out. I get 5 divided by 6, which gives me, we'll round to the nearest tenth in this video, 56.4 degrees. And so my first quadrant angle is one of my solutions, which is 56.4 degrees. And then I have another angle, though, that's in my second quadrant. And remember, it's a reference angle, so the 56.4 is also considered a reference angle. Let me go ahead and shrink this and move it up. And so I get the second quadrant angle. So if I do pull out the good old calculator, subtract 56.4 from 180, I get 123.6 degrees. So those are my 2 answers. So if I take sine of either of these angle measurements, I'm going to get 5/6, and that's what I'm asking for, is what angle measurements would give me that value between 0 and 360. And these are both of them. There's a first and a second quadrant angle. So the idea here is no different than what we did before, except the majority of the lessons before were, okay, it's an exact value. Oh, I guess class is over. It's an exact value, and you can know it off the top of your head. So a few interruptions there, sorry about that, but we have our 2 answers, and so going forward with these problems, it's going to be all non-nice numbers where we have to use technology to find what the actual trig value, what the angle measurement is. It's not your root 3 over 2s, your root 2 over 2s, and stuff like that. Okay, so there'll be a couple more videos, just gets a little bit extra practice, and then it's pretty much the same concept, just now we got to use our calculator to find the angle.